When we think about the very first sin, our minds often jump to a single image, someone taking a bite of forbidden fruit. But what if that act wasn't the beginning of the story, but the end? The Bible suggests the real transgression started much earlier, not on the branches of a tree, but deep within the human heart. It began with a subtle shift, a quiet turning away from trust, long before any fruit was ever touched. The catalyst arrives in the form of a serpent, its words smooth and unsettling. We see it approach Eve in the lush garden, but its question is far from innocent. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? This wasn't a genuine inquiry, it was a calculated distortion. God's actual command was generous, allowing them to eat from every tree but one. The serpent's question, however, cleverly reframed God's provision as a restriction, planting the first corrosive seed of doubt. It was designed to make God seem unreasonable and untrustworthy, twisting a boundary meant for life into a symbol of deprivation. This was the initial assault, an attack on God's character aimed squarely at the heart's foundation of trust. As the serpent's words hang in the air, Eve's gaze shifts from the creature to the fruit, and then to Adam, who is standing right there with her. The Bible is clear in Genesis 3:6 that he was present the entire time. Yet he remains silent. He doesn't correct the serpent's lie. He doesn't remind Eve of God's true command or his goodness. Adam's inaction in this critical moment is profound. His passive presence creates a vacuum where the temptation is allowed to fester and grow. He was meant to be a leader and a protector, but in his silence, he becomes a complicit partner in the unfolding tragedy, failing to guard the truth and allowing distrust to take root beside him. To understand the weight of their choice, we have to rewind to God's original instruction. We see a flashback to Genesis 2, where God tells Adam, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." This wasn't a harsh rule from a distant tyrant. It was the loving guidance of a father, a boundary established for their protection and flourishing. It was a call to live in simple, trusting dependence on him. Cutting back to the tree, we now see the act of eating for what it truly is, not an impulsive mistake, but the final, physical manifestation of a heart that had already chosen its own way. It was the culmination of a process that began with doubt, was nurtured by distortion, and enabled by passivity. The choice to eat the fruit was simply the outward proof of an inward rebellion that had already taken place. This ancient story echoes powerfully in our modern world. We see it in the endless scroll of conflicting news headlines designed to sow confusion and division. We hear it in the whispers of gossip that distort someone's character, or in our own hesitation to speak truth when it's uncomfortable. In these moments, we stand at the same crossroads as Adam and Eve. We are presented with a choice. Will we trust the goodness and truth of God's word? Or will we allow doubt, distortion, and passivity to lead us down a different path? The first sin wasn't just about a piece of fruit. It was about the heart's turn from trust to suspicion, a timeless struggle we all face today.